How to optimize a blog post. Hiya, Adam Payne here with the Video Marketing Insider, and welcome to video 3 of a 4-part series, which is all about creating content quickly, optimizing it on page, using some tools, and then once it's published, doing some more optimization. So in the very first video, if you missed that, I showed you how to create a blog post quickly. I went and did it live. I wrote a 1,000-word blog post on a topic I knew nothing about. If you want to watch that video, which introduces this whole flow, then click the little I at the top right or go to one of the links in the description. Video number 2 was how to take content that we wrote and how to use a third-party software called Surfer SEO to optimize that content before we publish it on our website. So again, video 2, you can also go to the little I at the top and find that. And again, that's in the description. So this video is going to be shorter, I hope. This video is just going to show you my process for optimizing a blog post on page. Now, I do want to say that there are people out there that know search engine optimization way more than me. This is no guarantee that this post is going to rank, or if you follow this stuff, it's going to rank. This is just something that I do. If you want to learn more about SEO, then follow other people that know a lot more about website SEO than me. But with that being said, I've taken the content that we first optimized inside of Surfer SEO, and I've put it inside of one of my websites, Video Marketing Insider. Now, the keyword is YouTube ads on a budget, and I've also added this to the end. So right now, we've got all of the text in here. So this is just what I do. So first of all, I don't like the Georgia font, and I think size 12 is too small. So as a general rule, I highlight everything and I change it to size 14. So let me just highlight everything first of all. We've got a lot of content in this post. So size 14, and I also use a different font. I use Verdana. So we'll click on this and we'll switch to Verdana. That just makes it bigger, and of course 14 will also make it bigger as well. The reason I do this is because I think there are some people that come to blog posts that, you don't want to squint when you're reading if the text is really small. This just, to me, makes it a lot nicer. So this is just something that I do. Let's bring this back to the top. So we've obviously got our H1 tag as our title. So we now need to go through and add our tags, our H1 tags and our H2 tags. So if I hover over this, you can see it's already got H3 because I copied this article from Surfer. I just like to make H3 size 18. And I go through and do the same thing. Now for H2 tags, I'll make them size 24. You don't have to do this. This is just what I do. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go through and change them either to 18 or 24. And I also like to hit the B for bold as well, so that when the blog post is live, they just stand out that little bit more. So I'm going to pause the video and go ahead and do these titles. Okay, so we've gone ahead and done that. There are a few other things that we need to do. One of the most important things that I found when it comes to making your whole website work well from an SEO perspective is to have a lot of internal linking. A little bit like Wikipedia. When you go to Wikipedia and you read articles, you'll find that there are tons and tons of links to other related articles and things and information on Wikipedia. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something similar. So I've got a blog post here which is all about YouTube ad statistics. So I'm going to copy the URL of that, going to come back here, and then I'm going to link to that here. If YouTube ad stats are your thing, or your thing, not your things, we have an extensive blog post on that. You can read it here. So let's just go and highlight that. We'll then click on this little link icon up here so we can insert a link. And then from here, we are going to paste our URL in here. I hit the little cog, and I prefer to have every time someone clicks on a link, it opens in a new tab. I'm sure there are SEO guides that play around with this stuff more. I don't bother with it personally. Maybe I should, but I do want them to open it up in a new tab, especially if it's mine, because it's going to keep my current post open. If they close that really quickly to go to this one, it's going to harm the bounce rate. So I want to do that. And every time I make a change, or not every time, but every now and then, I will just come up here and hit Save Draft. So you want to go through and you want to add links not only to your own stuff, but also link out to other articles if you think it will give your viewers a better experience. Don't be afraid to link out to other content that is related to yours, thinking, well, if I link out to other people's content, they might like theirs more than me and all that. That's a bit of the wrong mindset to have, and other people are going to notice over time that you've linked out to their content, and it's a great way to build relationships with people in the same niche as you. So don't be selfish and keep it all to yourself. But of course, link out to relevant stuff that makes sense. Now, there are plugins that you can use. There's a really cool plugin called Link Whisper. I'm not going to show that here, but if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description, which can kind of automate the internal linking process and give you lots of opportunities as to where you can add links. But it's not just linking to this particular, to other articles from your new post. You want to make sure that your new article is also linked to. So if you've got other articles that you've published which mention things, so if I've got another article on my VMI blog which talks about YouTube ads, which I do, or YouTube on a budget, which I do, I can go and open them up, and then I can link from those to this URL here. And you'll notice this is YouTube ads budget. I've not put YouTube ads on a budget. I found it works better if you keep it concise but on point. You don't have to include every single little word of your keyword. But this is the keyword that we're going after, YouTube ads on a budget, so I'm going to copy that anyway. I'm going to come down right to the bottom and just going to show you this now. There are tons of different SEO plugins, and people will tell you one's good and one's bad. We've got All-in-One SEO, which is what I use. Yoast is another famous and popular one. Rank Math as well. Honestly speaking, I don't think it really matters. That's just my personal opinion. But I need to make sure that I have a post title and meta description. So for my post title, I'm going to have my keyword, and I'm going to get rid of this. Let me just get rid of that. And in my title, I've got, according to this plugin, I've got 60 characters. Now, when we actually get to the next video, you will see that we may need to come back in here and edit that. But for now, I'm just going to put something like YouTube ads on a budget. All you need to know. And then I might put in my meta description some kind of spiel that is between about 130, 140, 150 characters long. So I'm probably going to include my keyword in there, but I'm just going to play around with it and write a little paragraph. So let me pause the video while I write this, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've got my meta description here. Want to run YouTube ads on a budget, got the keyword phrase in there. Then fear not, we reveal all you need to know to take advantage of YouTube ads. Now I've made that all caps just so it stands out. When people go to Google and they type in stuff, if, they may not, but if they see my content, this will appear below the post, so it stands out without breaking the bank. And then I put ... which kind of is a subconscious way for a potential reader to think, well, there's more to come. So let's click on that. So again, we can look at what this looks like later, but there's that. Focus keyword, got to put that in there. So YouTube ads on a budget. Okay, so we've got that. I'm not trying to get this to 100 or, you know, really, really high, because we're never really sure what these SEO tools, how they create this stuff, what their numbers really mean. And if everything's perfect, if it's 100 everywhere, it's over-optimized. And it's just not natural, because people aren't perfect by default. So you don't want to over-optimize things. Okay, so we've got this. So I've not got my focus key phrase in a subheading, so maybe I should do that. My focus key phrase, I don't care about that. That's fine. So we've got that stuff there. Now, if I click on social, you need to put some stuff in here so that when you share or somebody else shares your content on Facebook or Twitter, for example, it appears correctly. So for the Facebook title and the Facebook description, I'm just going to basically use exactly the same thing as I did for my meta description. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to copy and paste it, and I'm going to do exactly the same for Twitter as well. And then we'll talk about images. So let me just pause again. Okay, so I've done that. We've got our Facebook here. That's what it's going to look like. We've got our Twitter as well, which is the same information. What we really need to now focus on is getting some images done. And by the way, I've also just checked a correct category. So I'm going to choose YouTube as the category. But the images are really, really important. We need to make sure that our images are A, optimized, and B, put in the right places. So what I advocate you do is get a custom image made up for your blog post. So I'm going to show you one that I've got. Let me just open this up, bring this across. So we can see here it's called YouTube ads on a budget. It's not the best image in the world. It's got my logo, it's got my branding, but it's my image. So if anybody takes it or steals it or uses it, you know, I'm not going to sue them or anything like that, but it's got my branding on there. So I do have that image. Now, before we actually upload the image, there are a couple of things that we're going to do. So first of all, I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to drag and drop it in here. This is called tinypng.com. This compresses the images that we're going to add. And I do this process for all of my images. I put them through tinypng and then I download them here. So now I've got this image here. But I'm just going to take my original one and put it in the trash. And now I've got my new one, which I'm going to drag onto my desktop. Now, before we actually put this on the site, I'm going to use another tool. This is to add Exif Data. Now, I learnt this from somebody called Matthew Woodward, who knows millions more about SEO than me, but it's a pretty cool technique. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag the image in here. And all these links I'll put in the description, by the way. This is a free resource. And then we're going to click on Exif Me. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some Exif data to the image. I'm going to use this one, and this one. So the first thing is I'm going to come down to the bottom, and the artist is going to be me. The owner is going to be me. The copyright is going to be this particular website. And then image description is just going to be the keyword. So it was YouTube ads on a budget. And then I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to plonk that in there. We'll just close this off down here. Then we're going to come to the top and we're going to click on these tags here. And then we're going to come down to this. Byline keyword, copyright, nothing, writer, editor, me, and keyword. And then we're going to go to XMP tag. Creator will be me. Rights will be my website. We'll put that and then we'll put that. Maybe there's other stuff you can do, but this is what I do. Again, this is not something that I invented or created. I learned this from Matthew Woodward. Then we're going to click on Go Exifing. And then we're going to close the editor. And then I'm going to take the tiny PNG and put that in the trash. I'll do that now. And then I'm going to download this one. So this is the image we're going to use. So it's now been compressed and it's got the Exif data. And what we'll do here is we'll come over here. We'll come down to featured image, select featured image. I'll drag and drop this in. And then I'll add the ALT text. So in this case, it will actually be my keyword. I'm not going to put the ALT text as my exact keyword for every single image. It's taken a long time to upload. My stuff is running a bit slowly, as you probably gathered by this video, but we'll copy that. We'll plonk that in there and we'll set that as a featured image. Now for some themes, you may also need to put it at the top. I don't need to for this particular theme, but on other websites that I run, I need to also put the same image right at the top here. So what I would do there is just hit that, add media, and then from here I would go ahead and then I would choose that particular image and then I would insert it into the post. But for this particular theme, it's not necessary because when I publish it, it appears automatically. So let's just get rid of that image. So we've got that, and I'd go through that process for every image. Now, I wouldn't go through the Exif data for every single image personally. I only do that for the featured image, but for the other images that I'm going to put throughout here, I will compress them and I will add relevant ALT text to each image. Now, I need to add a bunch of images, as you may realize if you've watched the previous video. So I'm not going to just show you me adding images every single time, but I'm going to do that once this video has ended. One more thing I want to show you is I'm going to come down here. So apart from, of course, proofreading it, making sure that everything's spaced out correctly, spelt correctly, that I've got, you know, everything formatted, I do need to come to the image source, and I'm just going to click on this and I'm going to choose featured image, and then I'm going to come to Twitter. That should have the same stuff as that, and I should have my default. Yep, if you don't have your default set, choose summary with a large image, but I've got it set in my defaults anyway, but we'll leave that as it is. So let's come back to Facebook. We'll be back at Facebook. No, we're in Twitter still. So we'll come back to Facebook and we'll scroll down. We've got the image source, featured image, so that should be good. So the reason we do this again, so when we actually share the image, it should pull a nice big image. So just to summarize, I need to make sure that all my headings are set up, the font's changed. I'm going to go back and double check everything, make sure it is actually Verdana and size 14 if it's regular content. Added a category, we've done the tiny PNG, the Exif stuff, all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to add some more internal links and external links so it all kind of makes sense. And if you've got a call to action, you want to link people to an opt-in page or whatever, make sure you've got that there. Once you're ready, you can preview your post. So I hit save right now and I was to preview it now, you'd always want to preview it before you publish it because, of course, we're never sure how it's going to really appear. I'm going to hit on preview. It will open up in the new tab. Once I'm happy, of course, then I will go ahead and I will make sure that everything is fine. But you can see here I've got my table of contents, which is a plugin that I use. And once I've got images added and links, it should look a little bit nicer than it does right now. We've got this nice little image at the top. Thank you for watching this video. Please make sure that you watch the previous ones if you haven't, and make sure that you stick around and subscribe so that you can watch the final video, which leads me on to the obvious call to action. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you in another video. See you soon. Take care. Thank you for watching. If you've got any questions or you need more clarification, go and watch the video once more. Over on the right-hand side, we have some more trainings and reviews, so go and watch those as well. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and hit the bell notification. Other than that, ask any questions you've got below, and I'll see you soon.